If you've ever found yourself thinking, "I can't believe I did that," then this video is for you. Because science says you weren't fully in control when you did. In fact, you're only in control of 43% of your own mind. So if you want to understand who or what else is controlling you, keep watching. Welcome to our channel, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. You know those times when you're driving home and all of a sudden you're at home? Or you about to make an important decision and you can't unhelp but think of the one thing you need to do in the moment. Those are moments when your subconscious is taking over, controlling your actions without you even realizing it. And science says that's normal. It happens to all of us. In fact, according to Benjamin Libet, a neuroscientist from the University of California, San Francisco, you're only consciously in control of 43% of your own mind. The other 57% is controlled by your subconscious, that's right. Most of your decisions are made before you're even aware of them being made. Habits are controlled by your subconscious. You don't have to think about how to tie your shoes every time you go out. You don't have to think about how to walk or talk either. Your subconscious has stored these actions in your long-term memory, and it can recall them at any time it sees fit. Your reflexes are also controlled by your subconscious. Have you ever noticed how you instinctively duck when someone is about to throw a ball at you, even if you didn't want to catch it? It's because your subconscious has already processed the information and your body has reacted accordingly. Even your emotional responses are partially controlled by your subconscious. Think about how many times you felt angry, sad, or happy without really knowing why. Your subconscious is constantly analyzing the world around you and reacting accordingly, even if you don't consciously perceive it. But you might be thinking, how can this be possible? If my decisions are made before I'm even aware of them, then how am I supposed to change them? Well, it's actually possible, and it's easier than you think. You see, our brains are constantly being shaped by our experiences. Every time we learn something new, we're actually changing the structure of our brains. This process is called neuroplasticity, and it means that we can rewire our brains to make new habits and break old ones. Neuroplasticity was first discovered in the 1940s, and researchers found that the brains of taxi drivers in London were physically bigger in the area responsible for spatial navigation. This is because the taxi drivers had to navigate the city's complex streets on a daily basis, and their brains had literally grown in response to this challenge. Since then, neuroplasticity has been studied extensively, and researchers have found that we can change our brains in other ways as well. For example, people who meditate regularly have increased gray matter in the areas of the brain responsible for attention and emotional regulation. This is great news for anyone who wants to change their habits. It means that we don't have to be victims of our past. We can take steps to create the kind of brain and habits we want in the future. So what can you do to take control of your own mind? There are a few things you can do to start harnessing the power of neuroplasticity. First, you need to be aware of your habits. You can't change something if you're not aware of it in the first place. So take some time to reflect on your current habits and identify the ones you want to change. Second, you need to create new habits. Once you've identified the habits you want to change, it's time to create new ones to replace them. This isn't easy, but it's important to remember that neuroplasticity works in your favor here. The more you repeat a new behavior, the more your brain will change in response. So stick with it, even if you slip up a few times. Finally, you need to be patient. Changing your habits will take time. Don't expect to change overnight. Instead, focus on making small changes gradually. Over time, these small changes will add up to big results. All right, now that you know you aren't always in control of your mind, let's explore what else could be controlling you. Maybe you've heard the phrase, "You are what you eat." Well, there may be some truth to this saying. What you eat can affect your mood, energy levels, and even your intelligence. For example, eating a diet high in sugar and processed foods can cause your blood sugar levels to spike and then crash, which can lead to mood swings and fatigue. On the other hand, eating a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can stabilize your blood sugar levels and improve your overall health. In addition to affecting your physical health, what you eat can also affect your mental health. Studies have shown that people who eat a diet high in processed foods and sugar are more likely to develop depression and other mood disorders. On the other hand, people who eat a healthy diet are less likely to suffer from mental illness. Not only that, but what you eat can also affect your intelligence. Studies have found that people who eat a diet high in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids have better cognitive function and are less likely to develop dementia. Meanwhile, people who eat a diet high in saturated and trans fats have worse cognitive function and are more likely to develop dementia. So what should you eat to keep your mind sharp and your mood stable? According to research, you should eat a diet that is high in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein. This type of diet will provide you with the nutrients you need to maintain good physical and mental health. So if you want to keep your mind sharp and your mood stable, make sure you're eating a healthy diet. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with advertising messages. From the moment we wake up in the morning to the time we go to bed at night, we are surrounded by advertisements. Television, radio, the internet, magazines, newspapers, billboards, product placements in movies and TV shows, the list goes on. We are constantly being marketed to, and these ads are designed to influence our buying decisions. Advertisers use a variety of techniques to persuade us to buy their products or services. They may use emotional appeals, logical appeals, or a combination of both. For example, an ad for a car might appeal to our desire for freedom and independence, while an ad for a cleaning product might appeal to our desire for a clean and tidy house. Advertisements aren't the only thing that can influence our decisions. Our culture can also play a big role. For example, in many cultures, it is considered rude to refuse an offer of food or drink. As a result, people may feel obligated to accept offers, even if they don't want or need the item. Additionally, many cultures place a high value on politeness. As a result, people may go out of their way to avoid offending others. This can lead to people not speaking up or standing up for themselves. Our food can also influence our decisions. For example, studies have shown that people who eat a lot of sugar are more likely to be impulsive. This is because sugar affects the part of the brain that is responsible for decision-making. Finally, our environment can also influence our decisions. For example, people who live in poverty are more likely to make impulsive decisions. This is because they are constantly stressed about money. They may not have the luxury of time to sit down and carefully consider their options. So what can you do to protect yourself from outside influences? One thing you can do is to be aware of the different ways that your environment can influence your decisions. Once you become aware of these influences, you can start to take steps to protect yourself from them. For example, you can set aside time each day to sit down and relax. This will give you a chance to clear your head and make better decisions. You can also surround yourself with positive people who support you in your goals. Finally, you can limit your exposure to negative influences such as television and social media. By taking these steps, you can reduce the chances that outside influences will control your decisions. So if you want to take control of your own mind, be aware of the other forces that may be at play. Make sure you eat a healthy diet. Be aware of the influence of advertisements, culture, and your environment, and surround yourself with positive people. By following these tips, you can start to take back control of your life and make the decisions that are best for you. Let's bring this video full circle. You think you're in control? But science says, not entirely. If you want to change your habits, you can. It just takes some time and effort. You might be asking yourself, who or what else is controlling me if I am not in control of my own mind? Well, there are a number of factors that can influence our decisions. Our environment, culture, food, and advertisements, just to name a few. However, we can take steps to protect ourselves from these outside influences and gain back control of our lives. So if you want to start taking control of your own mind, hit subscribe. Take the wheel.